Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this short video on, yes, here it is, the hard truths about art. Now, before you get all worked up or intrigued, let me just tell you that actually this is born out of a lot of questions that a lot of people have been asking on the channel, which is fantastic. So I'm going to answer some of them for you today. We're going to cover stuff off like, we're going to talk about galleries, quite a contentious subject, separating work from home life, selling online, okay, lots of questions there, valuing your art, and definitely art critics. So hopefully these are some of the questions maybe that you've often thought about but never really either asked or found the answers to. But there are some hard truths behind them, things that really are a bit of a wake-up call if you want to tackle some of these. So I think, without further ado, let's get on and we'll go with question number one. So, enough of the just do it pep talks. Okay, well, you know what? Some people struggle to really find a way forward being artists. So sometimes it's as simple as just saying, just do it. You know, it allows you to get up off your backside, off the sofa, and actually go and do something. And I think we all need that from time to time. It can all be really, really difficult to get motivated, but actually someone just needs to point a finger and go, look, just get on with it, and at least make you do something. So that's what the Just Do It pep talks are about. I think as a human species, we need that from time to time.
Thank you, Mr. Swarez.
You're welcome. Besides, I mean, you know, I'm just trying to help. That's all it really is. You know, this is 10 years of experience here between the two of us. We've done this now for a long time, and these things work. So I can kind of speak with a little bit of history and a little bit of proof on that subject. Okay, you always talk in generalisations. Just get to the meat of it. Well, you know what? Sometimes I think it's good to generalise things because, you know, when we're talking about principles, the way to operate, the way to act, how you approach what you do, it's bigger really than art. This is life stuff we're talking about here. So I think it applies really to a great many different genres and things and activities that we undertake, not just being a creative person. So generalisations can be good. It's enough to give you a kickstart in a particular direction, I think, certainly from the feedback that I've had. Do you know, we're also wired differently as well. Let me give an example. You know, AD behind the camera, he might say something to me which is a very, very basic thing, but I might not understand that, not because I'm stupid, but just because we are wired differently as human beings. So the ability to communicate something out and put information behind it allows us to make better decisions and to get the job done properly. I mean, you know, understanding is a very, very common thing. We have a desire to understand, and the more we understand, the more knowledge we have. The more knowledge we have, the greater we grow and the greater we become. So I think it's really, really important actually that we provide ourselves with as much information as possible, and we'll pick out the stuff that applies. Nice studio, thanks very much. What's the logic behind it? And did you intend to build a gallery? Well, no, actually, genuinely, I didn't intend to build any of this. You know, 6 years ago, this was just a completely derelict and abandoned space. And in fact, I'm going to show you a picture now. I'm going to stand here, look, if you can see that. Now, you see these two controls here. That's those there. I had to do it on a printout. This is very low tech, isn't it? But where you're standing now, okay, this was just an empty, abandoned space. There's the two doors at the back, which is now covered by a wall, and a horrible, horrible concrete floor, literally stuff everywhere. So having gone from that, the whole point of doing this was that actually I just wanted the paintings to hang up. They don't like being compressed under their own weight. So as soon as they sit on the floor, they start to compress. And I thought, well, do you know what? It'd be quite good to hang them up on a wall. So we put one wall up. Actually, I think it was this wall over here that we first started with, and covered up the windows in the wall and the holes. And from there, you just carry on. You sell a couple of paintings, you get a few dollars in the till, and then you start building. And that was AD and myself have done this. No contractors, nothing was subbed out, there's no labourers. This is purely physical graft, building, him and me. That's it. Can't afford to do it any other way. Right, so that's that. Oh, and it was very expensive to build as well, so I've had to work very, very hard over the years. maybe that's a good hard truth to learn, that if you really, it's a principle again, but if you really, really, really want it, that effort has to go in. Unless you're born with a silver spoon in your mouth, effort equals reward. It's as simple as that. You get out what you stick in. Basic. Was separating your work and home life important? This may be a surprise for you, but there is no separation. I mean, let me say that again, there isn't. You know, my sole objective here is to make a living as an artist and a creative person. I don't want to work for anybody else. I don't want to get up at 9, have to come back at 5 and have my lunch break and be told what to do. But I'm so passionate about this that I want this to be my life. And when it's your life, it occupies this 24/7. So there actually is no separation. Okay, I do the painting here and it looks fantastic and they're stored here, but I've got a proper office at home, which is where I do all the admin and all the website stuff. So really there isn't a separation between the two. I've just got a space where I paint and a space where I work, but everything's blurred in here, right or wrong, that's the way it is. I think if you're going to go into this, you need to have a focus 24 hours a day. Okay, what makes a good selling platform? Well, I think if we talk about websites here just for a moment, you know, my main selling platform solely is my website. I would say 98% of anything I've ever earned from this comes from my website. Now I might point out it's taken 8 long years to get to that, and I've done every single piece of work on it myself. But what makes a good selling platform? Well, let's talk websites for a minute, because it's entirely possible to do it with that. If you want to go top level, really pro, have all the bells and whistles, you're going to have a budget and you're going to have to pay somebody. Freelancer, developer, that kind of thing. Maybe you've got friends who can do that kind of thing. But it's going to involve a lot of work and probably somebody other than yourself. If you just want to get going, if you just want to get a basic platform, something you can upload your photos to, something you can send potential customers to, then you can have one of these subscription sites like Wix, Squarespace, Shopify. They're all very good selling platforms. Put some words in, upload a logo, pop your pictures in, and their online wizardry will help you take money. And that's fairly straightforward. You can do that, and you don't really need any technical knowledge to work it. Okay, so that's what makes a good selling platform. Is there a difference between selling locally or internationally, and what's the best selling platform? Is there a difference between selling locally or internationally? No. No, there isn't. You've got a website. It's global. Okay, that's it. Next question. Why don't you like galleries, and why did you go independent?
Boo, galleries.
Boo, galleries. Well, okay, for a starter, it's to do with my business model. With the expenses it takes to run a business and just an average wage for me and Adi, my business model doesn't allow 50% of my turnover to go to anybody. Otherwise, I don't have a business. So that's consideration number one. I also have a massive, let's go behind the scenes. I have a really, really strong feeling about handing control over to anybody. Not because I'm a control freak or I've got OCD or anything like that. But think about this. Think about what a gallery is. You're giving your creative soul and your creative input to somebody else and allowing them to deal with that for you. You're allowing them to take money for you, to deal with clients, and to sell something that you've created. Now, I personally don't like galleries because I just think their business model is wrong. I think commissions are too high. I think generally their commercial awareness is not good. And certainly with the people that I've dealt with, it's been a pretty awful experience. I also might add that a lot of my friends who I know who've gone through galleries, they've had a similar experience as well. One person, they've literally had to leave the country. Another one got ripped off so badly and the gallery just disappeared with their money. We had to rescue their artworks. It's just been a catalogue of absolute catastrophe from start to finish. So this is another hard truth for you. Look, if you're going to go with a gallery, and that's entirely your choice, they've got to work for you, not the other way around. You might think, oh yeah, but I can't get into a gallery or there's a big waiting list. Right, galleries work for you. They have to work for you. It's like giving someone your bank account. There you go. Go and put some money in it. You know, if they're going to take 50, 60, even I know galleries take 75% commission rates. What are they doing for it? Yeah, selling it, not selling it? I'd really be grateful to hear your comments. We'll talk about that later on. But they've got to work for you. And if they're not, don't go anywhere near them. You can do this on your own with some effort, all right? Okay, is it good to do multiple art styles? Yes, it is. I've diversified into sculpture. We're trying something with resin blocks, all kinds of things. However, there's a caveat here, my friends. Always keep the main thing that you do, the main thing that you do. So whatever it is you're the expert at, whatever it is you're most comfortable with, and whatever it is that generates the revenue for you, keep that in the centre. Always keep the main focus on that. Around that, you can do whatever you want, as long as you don't lose the focus on that. So yeah, go have fun. Yeah, that's the whole point of this. Find out what it is that you're capable of doing. Do you know what? The bizarre thing about that, it makes the main thing a little bit better. That's what I found anyway. How do you increase your the perceived value of your art, and how do you make your art seem more valuable? Lots of seems in there. Okay, so personally speaking, number one is my unique materials. The paints are very expensive, the materials themselves are expensive. I'm going to shoot a video in the next couple of weeks about the roll of canvas that we bought. Oh dear, nightmare. But that'll give you an idea about what it takes to do something that's different, okay? So this is different. What I'm doing is, I think, different. You know, we're very proud of the personal service that we offer here. So my perceived value also comes from what I build around the paintings. You know, it isn't just that you see them on a website and they get packed up in some corrugated packaging and then get sent off via a courier. No. This stuff goes literally anywhere in the world and we'll follow on behind it. You can see any of these in your own space, your own offices. I'll Photoshop the paintings into your room settings for you. I'll do that multiple times over. For commissions, you can get 2, 3, 4, 5 variations on the same thing. And you combine that with the size of them as well. That's how to increase your perceived value. Now, I'm not saying that's right for you. What I'm saying is that you have to find the uniqueness about what you do. So that's the hard truth. Find it today. What's that 1 or 2 things that make you different from everybody else? Great friend of mine once told me, and I've had very little advice over the years, and I'll give this one to you now. You've got to be memorable. People have to remember you. Good or bad, you've got to be memorable. So find the unique, it might only be one, that one unique thing that makes you different from anybody else. And you'll find it. What do you do with all your unsold paintings? Okay. Well, you know, occasionally if something's really, really old, I might, you know, maybe fall out of love with it, or it might not just fit in with things that are happening at that time. So on occasions, I'll take them off the frames, just destaple the canvases, maybe roll them up for another day. I don't know, I'm pointing at this one because this one's really great and I'm not going to do it with that. But yeah, I'll just take them off the frame, recycle the timbers maybe, that kind of thing. Maybe I'll leave it a few months and then decide that I really like it again. It's a little bit of a yin and yang kind of thing, but that's all I really do. But I'm gonna make sure I keep everything. Only very occasionally do I chop things up and put them in the bin. Okay. But the hard truth of that, ladies and gents, is actually that the underlying moral of that is to keep your work fresh. If you can develop a questioning mind and ask yourself, is this where I'm at? Is this old stuff kind of representative of me? Just at least ask the question. That's all you can do, is ask the question. You'll find your own answers. A lot of people think your art is great. Thanks very much for that. But few of them put down cold, hard cash to buy. Yeah, you're absolutely right. The economic climate is appalling here in Britain. I don't know what it's like where you are, but we've got a thing called Brexit that we're dealing with, and it is hard going. I mean, really hard going. I think I read a statistic the other day, Ailey read it for me, about the amount of small businesses that are closing or filing for bankruptcy on a daily basis here in the UK. So our economic climate is very, very tough indeed. But that's why we're looking elsewhere. We're looking at all the other emerging markets. Money never really disappears, ladies and gents. It just shifts from one place to another. So if it isn't available here, we'll go and find it somewhere else. Okay, so this is all about change. This is another hard truth now. If things aren't going well, you have to look beyond what it is you're currently doing. Have a think, sit down, you've got time, and find a different way of doing things. So we're looking at different markets, different territories, different countries, different organisations, because if it isn't happening how it used to, go and do it differently. You can. If you think you can't, then don't bother. Okay? But it's really, really, really tough out here. Okay, we're nearly done. Despite galleries being difficult to gain access to and survive with, they do have their value, and that they connect you with real buyers. Do they? Not in my experience, they don't. Crippling commissions, I've said a lack of commercial awareness. It just doesn't work. I mean, that's again my opinions. I mean, I've got the opinions of myself and also the experiences of a lot of our friends who have really, really been through just some awful life situations created by people who really don't care. So if you think that they work and they work for you, great, drop me some comments. But generally speaking...
Prove us wrong, galleries.
prove us wrong. It's a frightening statistic here in the UK. And that since Brexit, 47% of the UK galleries have disappeared. Tough old world, tough old world. Okay, with art magazines and critics disappearing, where and how do you find those critical opinion makers that say your art is worth looking at? This is the only critic I listen to. What's in here? And so should you. You don't need to listen to anybody else. Don't ask for advice. Don't ask for opinions. Don't ask for technical feedback. Just create. And you know in here whether it's right or wrong. You shouldn't ask anybody for any opinions. Don't do it. Just never ever do it. Think of the word critic. What does that actually mean? It's being critical of something. So it's not exactly going to fill you full of praise, is it? I mean, by its very definition, it sounds like a negative word to start, so don't bother. You know, as far as I'm concerned, opinions are for people who lack confidence in their own output and abilities. So why are you looking for it? Be your own critic. That's all you will ever need. It's literally all you will ever need. Besides, I mean, who has the right to say what you do is good and bad? I mean, actually just think about that for a minute. You know, you've poured your heart into something for 3 months and someone comes along and tells you it's rubbish. No, how dare they? I mean, let's look at this from a critical point of view for people that you might have heard of. J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter books. I think she got turned down a dozen times with publishers. Did she give up? No, because the 13th publisher thought, we'll give this a go. She didn't give up. So no matter what obstacles you face, no matter what rejections you get, you cannot give up. Because the day you give up, it's all over. So never, ever, ever give up. But this is the harsh reality of it. Everything is harsh. This business is really harsh, but don't ever be put off because you can do this. You can absolutely do it. We've done it. You can do it as well. But that didn't harm J.K. Rowling, did it? Thomas Edison, he was told that he's, I don't know what the exact quote was, but that he would amount to nothing. That he literally would amount to nothing. And Thomas Edison is one of the greatest figures in history that, well, I think there is. You seem to have experience and seem to have some success. Yeah. So get to the useful stuff. Are you not entertained? Look, the whole reason we shoot these videos is we're trying to make it useful. And I think generally speaking from the comments that we've had, we are making it useful, which is great. If you think it's also been useful, remember you can share this to other people that you think might have a benefit from it as well. Even if there's just 1 or 2 little golden nuggets in there that might just help somebody. And that's what this is all about, ladies and gents. We want to share all the things that we've done and our experiences to try and help a few of you. And if we can do that, absolutely happy days. Couldn't be happier. So if you like this video, I think we're almost at the end now. Yes, fantastic. Thank you so much for bearing with us. I hope that's answered some of the questions and given you a few more takeaways to take back into your art career, or really whatever it is that you're doing in your world. I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments, and please, if you've got any more questions you'd like answering, I'd love to shoot a few more of these videos. I think they could be really important. So get involved in the chat. Drop me some comments down below. Hopefully you'll give us a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed. So much cool stuff coming on the live feeds. I cannot even begin to tell you, so please tell all your friends. Get involved, ask the questions, and we hope to see you back here real soon. Thank you so much, guys. See you soon.